What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here with Cheesehead TV, coming to you live from our New York City studio. I am joined, as always, by my co-founder here at Cheesehead TV, Mr. Corey Banky.
We got music. We got all kinds of craziness. This is awesome. I get my own music. What's happening?
Corey, I hate to break this to you, but the music, it's not for you. The music is not for you.
That's hilarious.
Hey, we're here, and we're here to carry the G with a very special guest. The debut episode of Carry the G with Mr. A.J. Dillon. Ladies and gentlemen, coming off a performance that saw him average 4.8 yards per the few carries he was given, give it up for Mr. A.J. Dillon! Woo!
How we doing?
AJ, can't thank you enough for hopping on board with Cheesehead TV this season. Thank you so much for joining us, today and going forward. Pretty much every Monday. I know we already get kind of knocked off course next week because of a Monday night game, but really, really excited to have you on board, man.
Hey, thank you. Just happy to be a part of it, and let's chat it up. Let's talk some
that's it. Coming off, 4 carries, 19 yards. Like I said, 4.8 average, and a reception for 7 yards. The man is multifaceted, can hurt you in a lot of different ways. Let's roll it back. Let's talk about this game. Obviously didn't turn out the way anybody wanted it to, but let's dial it back to, you're going into your preparation, coming out of camp. How did you and when did you personally and or as a team find out that this game was being played in Jacksonville? I mean, we on the outside as fans, we're sitting here going, oh, okay, I gotta, maybe make the trip to Jacksonville. Obviously, a number of Packers fans did, but most of us, it's still on the television. Our lives aren't affected. But you guys as players, how did you find out, and what was that adjustment like?
Yeah, well, there's obviously the hurricane that affected New Orleans, and, my prayers and everything are with the people down there struggling with that, and, hope everybody down there can recover. When that first came about, we heard that the Saints were practicing in Dallas. And so we thought maybe we were playing in Dallas, and maybe we were playing here or there, or SMU, I heard somebody say. But, we just kind of, stuck with the course, continued to go out to practice. And then it was officially released that we were, going to Jacksonville. But, we were just kind of ready and prepared to play anywhere. So,
speaking of playing, obviously the game did happen, and a very disappointing outcome for the Packers. But how do you feel you played? I mean, it's interesting to kind of look at the carries that you did get. Like I said, I mentioned the reception. How do you feel you played? What was film like for you today? How do you think overall you fared down there in Jacksonville against the Saints?
Yeah, one thing, getting to know me, and as we do this every week, I'm always going to be my own biggest critic, and to a fault. So, I did all right. There's a lot of things that stuck out to me. I could have done better, gotten some more yards, maybe raised up that average a little bit. But, for the first regular season game, opportunities that I had, I was just happy, I can get some positive plays in there. Was hoping to string some drives along, get it started. Obviously we didn't get the outcome we wanted, but, it was, I would say for myself, solid, but nothing crazy.
Do you think, because of the fact, it's interesting going back and looking at preseason camp, what have you, you're one of the few starters and or frontline guys on either side of the ball that got snaps in the preseason. Do you think that helped at all? Do you think that kind of, got you, not in football shape, so to speak, but I mean, you took a couple of hits there in the preseason. Do you think that helped at all?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a tremendous upside to having those preseason games. Like last year, going in the rookie year, we obviously didn't have the normal preseason camp because of COVID. It was brand new. So we didn't have any preseason games. There was no OTAs. So we were kind of just thrown into the fire. The rookie class was all around the league, straight into camp. And then that first game, it just kind of rolls on you. So I do feel like, for me, yeah, it was nice to, kind of get out there, knock off a little bit of the rust and, get hit by somebody else, make some missed tackles, string some runs along. But also I think it was really beneficial for, and I don't know how many of them actually got to showcase their skills, but I do think it was really beneficial for the rookies this year.
Right.
I know how much I would have benefited from having those preseason games last year, and obviously COVID, rightfully so, we couldn't do it. But I do think guys like Kylan and Amari, the linemen up front, just a few guys that come to mind, like definitely benefited from those preseason games, you know.
Going back to the game in Jacksonville, obviously sitting on the outside, we're watching this unfold. I can't imagine what's going through your mind on the sideline or even in the huddle during the drives, what have you. What was halftime like? Because I know, like, you know the internet. You're on the internet a lot. You know what fans are like. Man, on our live chat, it was Mushroom Cloud City. I mean, people were melting down. People were mad. People were frustrated. I get this picture in my head of, like, Matt LaFleur going ham on you guys, but I'm suspecting that's me being a creative person, an actor, somebody who, like, has watched a lot of movies. I gotta suspect that's probably not real life.
I mean, no. I mean, the tone was definitely, the tone was definitely set at halftime. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 17-3.
Right.
So we were only down 2 scores, and in the NFL, like, that's that's easy to, not easy, but that's, you can come back from that. It happens every week, two scores. So, I guess the tone at halftime from everybody, the vets, the guys in the game, the coaches, everybody was, all right, we didn't go the way we wanted it to, but, let's lock in and, 2-score game. We were getting the ball back to start the half, very manageable. But, yeah, I mean, obviously things didn't go the way we wanted, but, I mean, we got 16 more games and, we got plenty of football left.
Does that feel weird to say? Like, you've just played your first regular season game and you've got 16 games left? That's a little weird to hear.
Yeah, it definitely, it would have sounded a lot weirder last year.
Right.
Like last year, I had no idea what I was getting into leaving college, leaving a college season, which I was like, oh, this is so long, and getting to the league. And it's like, especially rookie year, because you go from college season straight into training for the combine, then you do the combine, then you go straight to, OTAs camp, season, NFL season. Like I was walking around in the off season, I was like, I don't even want to look at a football right now. But yeah, no, I mean, it does sound weird, but it's really, I'm starting to get into that groove where, I know the offense, I know the guys on the team and the coaches, and I got really great relationships with a lot of people. And so, it's more like opportunities, it's really exciting. I get excited thinking we got 16 more, so at least 16 more.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, I could sit here and ask you questions all day, but we do have a very special panel of friends of show, kind of from around the internet, several contributors here at CHTV and a contributor at ACME Packing Company. We've got Paul Bretl, who also writes at Dairlyand Express. We've got Maggie Loney, co-host of Packs What She Said. And, of course, Justis Mosqueda from the aforementioned ACME Packing Company. They have a couple questions for you, so I thought I'd throw it open to them, and they can shoot away. We'll start with Maggie.
Hey, AJ. Obviously, Quad Father shirt for you this evening, yes. But I guess my question really was, how challenging is it for you as a running back when you're not getting a ton of touches and you're unable to kind of get into rhythm to try and be a spark on offense? It's not like a 75-yard touchdown. It's not a sack or an interception. So, how do you kind of culminate a big play when you don't have the opportunity to actually get into a rhythm running the ball?
Yeah, great question. First of all, shout out Maggie over there repping the Quad Father shirt. That's awesome. Everybody go ahead and go grab you one. But, I think and I always kind of tell people this, like if you think about any sport or I guess kind of anything that has to do with adrenaline, like once you get into that groove, like I'm thinking like basketball shooters, they shoot one, all right, might not make it, but they keep shooting, then they find that sweet spot. I feel like that goes for all positions on the field in a football game. So I don't want to say it's like just me or just running backs. But I do think there's something about finding that zone. And so, I think that also is true for an offense or defense. When you're stringing first downs together, touchdowns start to come or field goals start to come. And then you keep doing that. That's when big offensive games come. Same thing on defense. You get a couple 3-and-outs and you feel like you're unstoppable. So, my just like my logic and my approach as a, runner and, running back on the Packers obviously is, just do what I can with the opportunities I'm given. Last year, I think I had 46 carries or whatever, but that taught me, coming from college where I had like 300 every year, taught me how to really embrace those opportunities. So, I really want to make sure every carry I'm trying to like get as many yards and put the team in the best position to, succeed.
Yeah, and I know you averaged like 15 yards per carry receiving your senior year at Boston or your junior year at Boston College. So Packers fans, be on notice that he's gonna, be a weapon this year in the receiving game too.
So I'm saying, you saw the catch, you saw the screen.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Next up, let's go to Paul. Paul Bretl from Dairlyand Express and a contributor here at Cheesehead TV. Paul, what you got for AJ?
Hey there, AJ. So one of the narratives around this game going into it, because it was in Jacksonville, was how are the Green Bay Packers specifically going to handle the heat? Because usually when we're talking Packers football, it's about 10 degrees, not 85, 90, and humidity. And I will say, maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment, but I live just up the road from Lambeau and Swamico, and this summer was really, really hot and humid. So it's not as if you guys weren't practicing in it. But how does your preparation change going into a game like this? And what's the difference in the fourth quarter of a game where it's 90 versus the fourth quarter of a game where it's 50 degrees?
Okay. I'm going to answer this in a couple parts. First of all, what you said, Dairlyand, what you're associated with? Sorry.
Dairlyand Express and Cheesehead TV.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this has any correlation. I understand Wisconsin is Dairyland, but I just had chocolate milk from Dairyland's Finest, and it came in this glass thing, and it's in my fridge, and it's the best chocolate milk I've ever had. So if that has any correlation with you, thank you. Now back to the heat. Like you said, it was at least compared to last year, it was really hot during camp. You don't have to remind me of that. That was tough, but I do think it definitely prepared us as far as, the climate. A big emphasis was, drinking water, not tequila, hydrating, things like that, So I know for myself, I did a ton, even when I wasn't really thirsty, just drink a bottle of water. Right before bed, I'd have a glass. And before I left for practice, just have another glass just to keep it going, just in case. So, I definitely think we did a good job as far as, pushing that emphasis, stay hydrated. And the heat this offseason definitely helped us as far as being used to the climate.
And then is there any difference in the fourth quarter of a game where it's 90 versus, 50, or what is that difference? How do you
that's awesome. It can start hot. But like if you really need to finish the game and it's nice and perfect football weather, that's great. Perfect football weather is like 60 with the breeze. Yeah, 60 with a nice breeze. Imagine your perfect fall day in like a flannel at like a pumpkin patch. That's perfect football weather.
I love it.
That's it. Or whatever it was when we played the Titans last year.
I was about to say Lambeau October.
I was going to say I was pretty perfect. I was pretty perfect in the snow. I don't know. That's just me, though. I am a prisoner and a sucker for a good snowfall. Finally,
well, you don't have to play, Nagler, so you know.
Correct. That is correct. I will be here in the studio drinking beer, watching AJ truck some fools. That is one of my favorite things to do. Finally, we have Justis Moschetta, former contributor for Cheesehead TV back in the day, but now contributing at ACME Packing Company. Justis, what's up, man? What do you got for AJ?
How we doing, AJ? I was just wondering kind of how the script of the offense works when the other offense is holding the ball for so long, right? Where, you guys are kind of operating in especially in week one, right? You guys are gathering information, but game flow also dictates when you can run and pass. You just talked about how, down 14 at the half, isn't really that big of an objective to force you to just pass, coming out of halftime. But at the same time, they're holding the ball for so long that you guys are getting so few reps that you're coming out of halftime. And were you guys fully confident in like what the defense that you were seeing was? And I know, Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers both said that you guys were seeing a lot of two-man when you kind of thought that you guys were going to see like pressure zone, because that's what you guys got last time against the Saints. Can you just kind of like explain that a little bit? And, when you thought that the offense was finally comfortable to react to what you guys were seeing defensively?
Yeah. So as far as like the first part with the script and everything, I'd be lying if I told you I knew what they were calling up there.
They don't tell you?
No, I mean, like I hear when I'm out there, but I don't have a microphone in my head. It don't come to me. I got to run whatever it's called. But, I think kind of just overall, the first game of the season, there's no film. Most teams didn't really play their starters or really get into their playbook during the preseason. So I do feel like that's definitely kind of the unknown. Like you don't know what you're going to get. Like Coach in 12 said we were expecting something. We didn't get that. That's also football, and we all get that. But so I feel like that's just you can kind of chalk that up to just the first game. They got a brand new quarterback there, not brand new, but obviously we were playing Drew Brees every year before, all the way up to like 2005 or something I saw.
Right.
So, obviously, they probably changed things on their side of the ball. But yeah, I mean, what I feel like when you look at the offense, I feel like Coach LaFleur and 12, they both kind of, and Coach Getz up there, all put together a pretty solid plan. I mean, last year, I think we had the best offense in football. So, it's just a matter of time. Just the ball didn't bounce our way 2 days ago or yesterday.
I know, right?
Yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yeah,
It feels
I
like
know.
a dream.
Oh my goodness!
A long day.
Yeah.
Long day.
It was a long one.
I don't doubt it.
But, no.
So I have the next question, and actually, I want to say one thing. You are a content creator, and I love this about you, but also I want to say this a little behind the scenes. We had a nice rehearsal because you showed up early on time because you understand like what being talent is. So I really appreciate that, like from the bottom of my soul. And then you got to witness me. I had my YouTube open. So I'm like producing the show on Zoom. I got like a whole like background, got my YouTube open. So literally I'm hearing like the show being repeated to me, thinking there's like a mistake. And my producer very, very, very astutely switches away. But the point of all that is not that I'm an idiot. Everyone who watches CHTV really knows that already. Nothing was revealed by that. But the bigger thing is, AJ Dillon, you are a pro, sir. You are a pro, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
So I have a question. It's not about football. I know everybody's so surprised. So I've been following you on TikTok, and I got to be honest, dude. I'm really old to be on TikTok. I have gardening. I don't know. I know you don't follow me on TikTok, but I have some gardening TikToks on. I'm starting gardening TikTok. It was already started.
There you go.
Whatever. So yeah. So there's some sunflowers on there. Some watermelon. But
I crushed those.
what?
Yes,
you
literally.
do. Yes, you do. Maybe.
You just threw me that alley-oop.
I got the social for the show. I've got some Wisconsin watermelons, and we're gonna have. They're not very big though, so I don't know. It might ruin your brand because it's not big enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll have to check that out. But my question is, what is the most on social media, right? So after Boston College, what's the most surprising thing that's happened to you so far by you putting yourself out there on social media? Which, like what kind of like you're of this generation that does this, but what's the thing where you were like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming?
So there's a lot of through social media, definitely using it the right way. There can be a lot of good to it. Obviously, a lot of marketing opportunities, things like that, and so forth. I've met a lot of people through social media, been able to interact with a lot of other athletes or even actors and whatnot. But I guess the biggest thing you can just look at on paper is the following and support that I have on my social medias for being a guy with 50 carries to his name. You know what I mean? Like, and it's really humbling, and also like just so, you know, like sometimes, oh man, I only got 4 carries, or I got 1 carry this week. But, you know, it's nice to know that there's people that, you know, follow me and follow my story for more than just football, or support me, the football player, for more than just, you know, what I do every Sunday. And I feel like the way I use social media anyway is to kind of show what else I'm into. Like, I got cards in the back here. I do, you know, sometimes I give back to fans. Sometimes I'm just having fun doing dances, whatever. Not on anybody's logo, but you know, so it's just it's really fun for me to express myself, and I love to, you know, interact with fans when I can. I love to interact with the community when I can, and so it's all brings it all to one place. But I mean, me having like 250,000 followers on Instagram and 300
Okay,
yards.
all right, okay, we're dropping numbers. I get it.
It's
All
a
right.
flex now.
All
It's a
right,
flex show.
We got it. We got it.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
got
Like,
it.
I have 300 yards in my NFL career, so it doesn't just happen.
You got to
So
throw it.
it's-
I know. I feel you. Hey, Corey, that's an amazing segment. That's an amazing segue into our next segment
That's right.
about AJ's
transition
social
around here.
life. Let's bring in Tyler Herrick, our social media guru, because
We got an intro here.
as
Let's do
Corey,
this.
said, we are old men in the social game. So
That's right.
let's get someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Al, why don't you roll it? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, AJ, my guy, my guy. We were just talking about all your numbers on social. Actually, pretty impressive. Like, I don't know if there was anything particular that you were doing on there, but you're doing great. One area in particular that we want to talk about is your TikTok, man. You have a couple of bangers on that TikTok, dude. It is incredible. We love it, man. One of them has like 2.7 million views. That was one where you were like, coach gave you a day off and you segued it into one of those dancing memes. That was hilarious. Of course, you got some great Warzone ones on there. You're an avid Warzone player. We see that all the time. What's your KD, by the way? You got anything going good?
You know, it's solid. I don't like to toot my own horn, but anytime you want to hop in my backpack, I can carry you.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. You can give me a couple dubs. I have to do Rebirth Island right now. It's the only way I can really get my dubs, but that's all right. We're going there. Hey, one of the TikToks on there that we saw today, this was actually from, I guess, a couple weeks ago, I guess, when you guys went to Buffalo, was you showing the rookies bringing all the food onto your charter flight. That is hilarious. Take a look at this. What do we got here? Is this Eric? We got Eric out here, I think, bringing some food. He's got some bags on here. The other shot we had with Kylan, I think it was Kylan, bringing you some Panda Express.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we saw you eating some of that orange chicken. Is that your order? What you got in that order there?
Yeah, that was my order. You know, I don't feel bad. I had to do it last year. I was running all the running backs, their food before the plane. You know, I wanted to look all nice in my suit or my outfit. And here I am with last year I was bringing Wingstop bags. Doesn't make for the best photo.
That's hilarious, man. You got the photographer out there trying to take pictures of you guys.
But you gotta, you know. So we'll get back to it, back to them. But last year I got it down to a science. I grabbed an extra rolling bag and I would take the Wingstop, put it inside the rolling bag, and so it just kind of looked like, you know, I just had a lot of stuff for a one-day trip. But they didn't do the food. So they'll figure that out in the next couple of away games. But, you know, the Panda Express, it's just an orange chicken and some rice. Nothing crazy. You don't want to break the wallet, but, you know, it goes a long way to know that we got Kylan there to support. I actually had his card up here, which is really funny.
That's great.
Shout out to Kylan for bringing out that food there. We love it, man. Moving on, I guess you're entering a little bit of some sentimental TikTok here. We love to see it. You actually had a fan. Now, I want to get the backstory on this because this is actually incredible. Cheesehead TV, when they started back in whatever they started 100 years ago or something like that. They actually, the reason they started, and part of the reason they started, was to get Packers fans worldwide some Packers news. Because back then, if you didn't really live in Brown County or the Green Bay area, like, you're not getting a ton of Packers news. And of course, post 9/11, they wanted to ship it out and get all that info and all that news out to Packers fans who were deployed overseas and things like that. You had a fan here, I believe, who is a part of, let's talk about this, Specialist Saya from the 256th Infantry Brigade. I had to write this down. Combat Specialist, Louisiana National Guard. Tell me about how this happened. Is this somebody you just found on TikTok, or how did this work out? You got a flag to her, signed it? What's going on there?
Yeah. So actually, I found her story on Twitter one day. A bunch of people kept tagging me, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I checked it out, and it was a TikTok. And she had this flag, and she's from Louisiana, big Packers fan, avid Packers fan, and she's gonna be able to come to her first Packers game. It's November, whatever, 28th or 26th, whatever game that is that weekend. So she'll be at her first ever Packers game. So she was really fired up about it. She's obviously serving our country right now and everything. And the video is really nice. And, I was like, hey, like, you know what, send me in that flag. Like, I'll sign it, get it back to you. But when I got it, I was like, hey, like, maybe the team will want to sign it. So I brought it in, and numerous guys took the time to hear about her story and signed it, and you got players all over there. Jair is her favorite player. I'm not upset about that. But yeah, no, it was just really nice. I wasn't necessarily looking for anything from it, but it was nice to hear her story and obviously thank her for her service, and just keep her Packer memorabilia growing, and it's awesome to have that effect on people. And we have the best fan base in football, so it's really cool.
And that is awesome. Talk about carrying the G. We salute her and appreciate her service out there. And one last thing, as we stick in the wholesome, sentimental TikTok vibe, we're just keeping it real chill here. Congratulations, man, from all of us here at CHTV and Packers fans worldwide on your engagement, brother. We appreciate it, man. My guy, you got it. That is awesome, man. You put a ring on it. That is so cool. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. You put that everywhere on social. That is really, really cool. What was some of the reaction you saw to that? I mean, just people congratulating you and things like that?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you. I got outpouring of support. It's really funny. My now fiance was laughing at me because that Instagram post I put up of us two is the most liked Instagram post I've ever had. So maybe you should post me more. Enough of these football picks. But no, it was awesome. Obviously love her very much. And, I was able to have the whole engagement proposal go off without a hitch. She had no idea it was going. I told her I was filming a commercial in Door County. And so I had a video crew filming her all day. Started in Sister Bay, Fish Creek, and then we ended at her cottage out there in Egg Harbor. So, it's just a ploy for me to be the ambassador and mayor of Door County, which is something we'll get into whenever you want to ask me about that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to save. I think we're gonna have to save that for some other shows. I literally
we got
have
a whole
that
season
question.
of that, man. We got a whole season of that. Don't worry.
I mean,
No,
essentially,
appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time.
We're setting up. What we're doing is we're setting up a cage match between you and John Kuhn. That's what because I know
There you go.
Kuhn has already tried to come at you on socials. So we'll we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. That's fine. Hey, just make sure he actually shows up and not like Boston Connor, who wanted to do that Oklahoma drill from the Pat McAfee show.
AJ throwing it down. Oh my God, I love it. All right, well, we are going to wrap it up. AJ, I can't thank you enough, man, for hanging out here, the inaugural, the debut of Carry the G. I want to thank our panel, Maggie, Paul, Justis, and of course Tyler, for joining us. AJ.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Let's do it.